thoughts on Colorado State?
They're a good team, the record may not show it, but they have good players and they play well at home, so we have to be dialed in for them on Wednesday.
You played him twice last year. No, yeah, twice last year, once this year. What makes Steven special?
He can do it in multiple ways, he can score the ball super well, and if they, we put a lot of pressure on him, he finds the open man, and so you got to kind of pick your poison with him, and either way, he's a really good player.
There's you watch AAU basketball or even mostly college basketball. It's not like anyone's getting taught post moves anymore. At what point, was this high school, college that you really started to hone in on your post moves, and what was that like?
I played the 5 in high school from my sophomore year through senior year. So my coach in high school really worked on post moves with me because it was such an advantage in the league that I was in. So I think that's helped me a lot, and just knowing how to play in the post and taking advantage of my size when I have the advantage.
These games.
You've had some really efficient shooting nights recently, and 9 for 11 on Saturday. How do you kind of keep the discipline to get these high percentage looks and only kind of take good shots?
I know that in our offense, I don't have to force a shot. We have so many good players, and I have so much trust in my teammates to spit the ball around and find the open man. So I take the opportunities that I see as best, and it's really paying off.
These games where maybe from the outside it looks like you should win, but you obviously know going to Colorado State's not going to be an easy game. You got San Jose is going to be a similar one. You got UNLV. What's it like, I guess, at this point where you're just trying to avoid the bad loss or whatever that could kill your resume?
We just got to take it one game at a time. Especially last year, we were in kind of a similar spot, at the top of the standings, and so as long as you take it one game at a time, it makes it a lot easier to look at the rest of the season. And
when you get to these, when you see the end, I guess now there's 6-7 games left, does that make it easier to kind of go one, not you just survive in advance, just is it easier to kind of go one game at a time when you're almost at the end, or no?
It's about the same as always, but you do see the light at the end of the tunnel. Postseason's coming around, we got to make sure that we stay dialed in for each game because we know how important each game is with the resume, and we're on the bubble, so a loss would be pretty detrimental. So we just got to take it one game at a time and put all of our focus into Colorado State.
How would you describe Naj's shot?
A little funky. It's not he has his elbow cocked a little bit, but it goes in. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. So
when you're watching it, does the ball it looks like it almost spinning sideways?
I think it does spin a little bit sideways. I've watched. I think a little bit. It doesn't have the rotation like this. It kind of has a side like this almost. I think that's because of the way his elbow is, but I don't know. I'm not a shooting coach.
I guess you can't at this point if it's going in. There's no point.
Yeah, he's been the same way since high school. That's kind of how his shot was when he was at LC when I was a freshman. It's been that way, and he's worked on it, and it's paying dividends. He's shooting the ball really well this year.
What's it like for two of you guys when you're out there on the floor at the same time? Because I thought together you guys really had a good game against Wyoming.
We just complement each other so well. I'm not the most athletic guy, but Naj makes up for blocking shots and all that kind of stuff. So we just play off of each other really well, and we complement each other really well.
Obviously, you weren't worried. You said you weren't worried about your shot, and it's obviously correcting to the last several games here. Was it just sticking with the process, and they're just the same shots are starting to go in now, or?
Yeah, it's just sticking with it and staying confident. Every shooter has a slump like that. You see Max last year, it started 1 for 24, and then you see him this year, he's shooting over 40%. So you just gotta stick with it and stay confident, and shots are gonna eventually fall.
How does the game change when Marcus Shaver's on the floor?
He's our calming factor. There's just something about him. He's never fazed by anything, and he just controls the offense so well. And we're so lucky to have a guy like him on our team. And I don't think he gets the praise he deserves. When he hasn't played, we've struggled, especially against Santa Clara and San Diego State. And if we had him in those games, I think we win both of them. But I think he's just such a calming factor for us, and he's such a big part of our team.
Is there an example there, Tyson, outside of points, rebounds, assists, or whatever, that he brings to the table that is so that goes beyond a stat sheet for you guys?
You see it in the stat sheet, but it's just his calming factor. You never really see him, super excited or super down on himself. He's always even keeled, and I think that, you know, pays off for a point guard because you never can get too high or too low in a game. He just stays so even keeled, and it helps us stay calm in those big moments.
At this point in the season, how are the guys coming off the bench coming along and developing? I know there were no scoring in the last game, but Leon said Kobe and Jace were doing a lot of things really well. What are you seeing at practice?
They're doing the right things, you know. We've seen in practice that Jace makes the right reads and pick and rolls, and it's just about them staying confident throughout the rest of the season because we know we're going to need him down the stretch.
I can't remember how many times Marcus pulled it out last year, but what do you think about that step back that he showed off the other night?
That's his shot. I mean, he's had plenty of like game-winning shots where he's gotten to it, and it's just such an effective shot because you're so afraid of him going downhill. When he stops and steps back, he creates so much space, and it's just like a shot he shoots out there in the gym by himself.
Is them storming the court on you guys last year like at all any big deal going into Wednesday or?
Not really. I mean, you know, that game was definitely one that we wish we could have had, especially like looking back. Could have helped our seeding last year, but you know, that's last season. We got to focus on taking care of business on Wednesday.
Maybe at this point in the season, do you start to feel the energy that it is like, you know, getting near middle of February, March isn't too far away?
Yeah, I saw a March Madness commercial, and there's part of it like the over the top of like our game against Memphis, and then halfway through you see Naj with this like open mouth face, and it kind of like, oh man, that's a month away. So we're really getting down to the wire, and it's an exciting time.
I know that you guys don't look too far ahead, but is it a pretty daunting schedule coming up in terms of, I mean, this is going to be a really tough 6-game stretch for you. Is it kind of I guess a good build up to what will soon be, you know, literal must-win games, I guess, once you get down to the tournament and beyond?
Absolutely, you know, I think most of the rest of the games are must-win for us, and you know, every win that we get will help us, you know, with our resume for the tournament. So it's an exciting time, but you know, we just got to take care of business one game at a time.
You know,